actually. It's regarding the material that Sairam was asking. So usually you can find the material here in Microsoft Docs. If you go with any topic, you can find like if I go with the fiscal calendar and if I just
Share
add
the screen.
okay, I'm sorry.
Can you share this?
Go here. Can you see my screen?
Yes, now.
So if I go into browser and
Yes.
just add fiscal calendar and D365 or Dynamics 365 like that, I'll find a document here with http docs.microsoft.com. This is the official documentation for Dynamics. Okay, if I click here on this official documentation, I can see all the available details and the theoretical part about fiscal calendars. So it will be huge actually. What all we have discussed in the class, can you find it here, or you can find more information also in this. But the theoretical part will be here, the theoretical explanation. So sometimes it is tough to understand. And if you try to apply the logics that we learned in class to this theoretical part, it's not so tough to understand. So in the same way, for each module, you can see here the topics. See accounts payable, receivable for each module you have. Mostly each module you have, and each topic you will definitely have. Just you have to select it like this. So if I want to search currencies, so I'll search currencies D365. So here I can see configure currencies Dynamics 365. There is a Microsoft original documentation. Sometimes there will be private blogs also written on how to configure currencies or how to manage currencies and all. So it will be really useful if you go through blogs and see the explanations of people even. So that would add some knowledge to you eventually. And so this is how you can go in actually. If I open this again, I see this. I mean, so this is actually a small introduction and a start test about Microsoft. I mean, in Microsoft Dynamics about currencies. So you can also do this, but I don't want this page. So 1 second, guys. Let me add this guy to the call. Fine. So then, other than this, I have some material. It's a Word documentation. Actually, it's a little simple understanding or theoretical explanation about each topic. So I have it for each topic. I'll share after topic by topic once after we complete the topic in the group only. So it's in the perspective of AX, I mean the older version of Dynamics, but the theoretical explanation and the definitions will be the same, and it will be detailedly explained in that Word documents. I'll share with you later. So if you want to research more or to learn more theoretical about these things, you can always go through this documentation here. Sairam, got it?
Yes, JB.
Okay, perfect. So anybody else have any doubts in this? You actually can always access to. I mean, it's always freely available. The documentation in web. Microsoft does have explanation for every topic that is in Dynamics. And anything from yesterday's class? Any doubts?
I have
Anyone?
one doubt. Yeah, I have one doubt.
Yes, Sushila, please.
Yeah, in the while configuring the currency exchange rates,
Mm-hmm.
there is a date, right? Can you please open that page once so I can
Okay.
explain easily?
Sure. So currency exchange rates. I'm here in currency exchange rates.
Yeah, here from date and to date is there, right?
I'll change it to MRF. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have from date to date. Yes.
So if we post any transaction between those dates and the currency will be the same in between those dates
So
because from date
these dates does not have any effect on the exchange rates actually. These dates are only to display the list of currencies we have here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Suppose for US dollar to INR, so let me go for US dollar to INR here. We have these exchange
Okay.
rates, right? Usually, the if you select dates here, it will show the list of
From
currencies we have
okay. Yeah. Okay.
between these
Clear.
dates, the exchange rates between these two dates. That's all.
Clear.
So if I have 100 dates, again, I can't see all of them here, right? So it will filter them, or you can easily filter those exchange rates here by using these dates. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, right. So I will go back to the home page. I'll change the legal entity to MRF, which is our demo company. So yesterday we have discussed this about configuring exchange rates. So normally in business, we might have exchange rates on daily basis, or I mean, usually you will have exchange rates on daily basis from one currency to other currency. But in business, they might require the exchange rates on daily basis, or they might not require the exchange rates on daily basis. So if they are doing regular foreign trade with the foreign vendors and foreign customers, they might need regular exchange rates to calculate or to, I mean, operate the business or to accurately enter the accounts or translate the balances from one currency to other currency or in between their local currency and the foreign currency. But if they're not doing regular trade, usually they'll change the exchange rates or update the exchange rates once in a week or once in a month according to their business requirement. So sometimes people, I mean, in business, they will update the exchange rates on first of every month. That's all. They will use the same exchange rate for complete month. So mostly it will fluctuate 2 rupees lower or 2 rupees, I mean, upside or at least, I mean, 10 to 15 rupees. If it is a very large trade, then they might look into the concerns of changing the exchange rate for that day maybe. But if they're not constantly doing or regularly doing the exchange rates, I'm sorry for this. If they're not constantly doing the, I mean, foreign trade, so they don't have to update them daily. So forget about that example when they don't have to do it. But in case if they have regular trade in business, so if they have regular trade in business, they have to add the exchange rates on daily basis. So they have to have an exchange rate between INR and US dollar on daily basis if they have to do regular transactions. So is it possible that an user can go and give the exchange rates on daily basis in Dynamics? It is actually possible. So if I have only few currencies like INR is my local currency and I have exchange rates between INR to US dollar and just INR to euro, only two exchange rates. My user can daily come here and give the exchange rates. Sometimes if the user forgets, then there will be inaccuracy in calculation again. So for this kind of situations, actually, there is a option available in Dynamics wherein it automatically imports the exchange rates from a trusted browser or a trusted provider, whoever provides exchange rates. From that particular link or web, Microsoft Dynamics will automatically import the exchange rate. So now we will discuss how Microsoft Dynamics imports the exchange rates or how to configure the, I mean, how to do the configurations to achieve the import of exchange rates. So as previously I have asked a question like who would normally provide exchange rates for a currency in between currencies in a particular country. So in India, who would provide the exchange rates or who would standardize the exchange rates between two
RBI.
currencies? So RBI is a good answer.
RBI.
Exactly, RBI does in India, whereas it comes to US as well as to European market. So there are few standard banks or the authorities who would finalize or standardize the exchange rates between two currencies. So with respect to US dollar, there will be a Bank of New York or any other standard bank we have, or else when it comes to euro, we have Bank of Europe. So these banks will provide usually. So you should have the configuration of that bank. Normally, that bank will usually have a link, an XML format link that would provide the daily exchange rates from one currency to the other currency. So if it is Euro Bank of Europe, it will have exchange rates between euro to all other currencies in the world. So in the if we are able to access that particular XML page, we can import the exchange rates on daily basis. So I'll show you how it looks like and how the exchange rate provider page will look like. Okay. So firstly, in order to import the exchange rate, we have to configure the exchange rate provider. Whoever provides the exchange rates, we can configure it. So then in Dynamics, we only have few exchange rate providers. Actually, we have three, I think. In that, only one works in this demo environment. I'll show you how that is Bank of Europe. I think that will work here. So in order to configure it, so I have to go to General Ledger. In currencies, I have this exchange rate providers here. Configure exchange rate providers. First, we have to configure the exchange rate providers. Later, we have to import the exchange rates. It's another step here. So in General Ledger, under currencies only, the menu that we were discussing yesterday, we have here configure exchange rate providers. So if I click here on configure exchange rate providers, so I have one here, Central Bank of Europe. I'll just delete it to create it once again to show you how you can create it. So normally when you access this form, it will be like this. It will be empty. Okay, if you want to create an exchange rate provider or to look for what the available exchange rate providers in Dynamics, you can click here on new. Okay, and I see there are 3 exchange rate providers in my environment already. So I only have 3 standard ones. I'll use the Central Bank of Europe to import the exchange rate. So in the Central Bank of Europe, usually we have exchange rates between euro to other currencies, all other currencies. So every day they will update in their website in a specific format that Dynamics accepts the exchange rate import. So I'll show you how that format looks like again. So I select this Central Bank of Europe and I click on OK. So here it brings up the name Central Bank of Europe, and it also brings up the URL page from where the data will be extracted or imported into Dynamics. So if I open this URL in web, normally I'll copy this URL here and I'll try to open it in another tab, web here. So this is how it looks like. This is a web XML page. You can see this is an XML file. In a web XML file, you can see this exchange rate. So from euro to US dollar, today's rate is this one, 1.1772. So let us check it if it is right or not. Euro to US dollar. So 1.18. So it's almost here, 1.1772, which is the same. So euro to Japanese yen, euro to BGN. So same way, euro to all other currencies we have here. The exchange rates are already provided by this one are updated. So you can see the date to here, 21/7/2012. So in this way, same way, every day in this link, this Bank of Europe, the Central Bank of Europe will update the exchange rates from euro currency to other currencies on daily basis. So in what Dynamics does is, if we run the import, if we done the import activity, it will import the same exchange rates into system. So let's see how it works or how it imports the exchange rate. So this is how we configure the exchange rate provider. In case if you want to configure the exchange rate provider, Reserve Bank of India exchange rate provider, you have to find this link, this exact link wherein you can export the exchange rates from Reserve Bank website. That should be in the same format, like INR to other currencies exchange rates will be there. So you have to find such link and you have to copy and paste it here just and change the name as Reserve Bank if you want to. Here too, this one is the exact place where you have to paste it, the link. So this is how the exchange rate provider configuration looks like. So I think in this demo environment, this is the only exchange rate provider that works perfectly. So I picked this one. So I'll save this. Now I will use this to import the exchange rates. There is a process to import the exchange rate. The next step, I'll show you how. Any confusion in this until here? Anyone?
Again. So once again, you can tell it.
You want me to explain it once again?
Yes, sir. Just for you, URI.
Okay, no problem. So generally, you can click on new and select the exchange rate provider. So this is an exchange rate provider, which is Central Bank of Europe. This usually holds the exchange rates between euro to other currencies. Okay, in it's a standard bank of Europe, right? So it only have exchange rate between euro currency to other currencies. So what Dynamics does is Dynamics imports the exchange rate from the bank's website. This is the website of the bank rates are. So this will automatically be in place when you use this exchange rate provider. So how this looks like, the data looks like in this format is I just copied and pasted this link here in web and I have seen it. So this is XML format. So euro to US dollar, euro to Japanese yen, like that. From euro to all other currencies, there are exchange rates configured here. I mean, exchange rates updated on daily basis in this bank website or in this XML format in the bank website. So what Dynamics does is Dynamics read this format and import the exchange rates or create the exchange rates for today's date for all the currencies. I mean, whichever they were paired up with euro, so it will create the exchange rate between. So those currencies which are linked with euro or paired up with euro. In the same manner, if you want the Indian, I mean exchange rates between India and other currencies, so you will have the RBI link in the same way. Since this is Euro Bank link, you will have RBI link. You can place that link here, or you can create one more and just change the name here as RBI or rupee imports, and you can give that link here so that it will also almost look in the same format, the XML format. The currency exchange rates will be from INR to other currencies again. So here it is euro to other currencies. So on daily basis, this will be changing. So today's date you can see, and these exchange rates are for today's date. So on daily basis, they will update the exchange rates. Actually, according to the yesterday's trade and yesterday's finalized rate will be used today. And according to today's trade and today's finalized date will rate or exchange rate will be used as tomorrow's rate. So that's what happens uh, in practical. So today is 21st, right? So what all the trade that is done today, by the end of the day, they will fix an exchange rate and that will be used as an exchange rate for tomorrow. So that they will update that exchange rate for tomorrow's standard exchange rate in this page again. So that's like this, the import of exchange rate. Not most commonly, Indian customers mostly does not use this import of exchange rates and all, but in Euro they will definitely use this daily exchange rates or configure the exchange rate providers to import the exchange rates. So this is one functional way of doing it. Sometimes you have to achieve it technically. There won't be any bank or any website that provides this data, that you have to extract the data from some other web and create an XML file like this, and then you have to use that web link in order to import the exchange rate. So that technical consultant will take care of. So functional consultants should understand how this functionality works. That's all. Got it, guys? Any confusion again? Vamshi, Naveen, Saideep, Seshu.
No, sir.
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
So
Sir, so one more
someone.
that if
Yeah.
RBI requires, how we can, if you see the 500 rupees of a euro currency, but our Indian currency is more than, no sir.
I did not get your question specifically, but in here you will have in this website that I showed you, you will have exchange rate between euro to INR specifically. But if you want it
Yeah.
from INR to other currencies, you have to give that RBI link, the exchange rate, wherever the exchange rates are
That's
placed.
RBI link into same. We can change it in a name places, or we can add a new.
You can add a new provider and you can just change the
Okay.
names. That's all. And yeah, else if you want to change this one, you can change it as RBI. You can rename it as RBI and you can change these links. That's all. Everything will change right then. Okay. Do not worry about it. It's a simple way. You can change the name as RBI here and you can just change the link from here. You can delete this link and place that link of RBI. That's all. Then let's see how we can import the exchange rates. So to import the exchange rates using this exchange rate provider, I am in general ledger again. Under currencies, I have this one, import currency exchange rates option. General ledger, currencies and import currency exchange rates. So if I click on import currency exchange rates here, it will give me this page. So I'll explain one by one options that we can select. So here I have the exchange rate type selection. So we have a lot of exchange rate types in our organization. So which one is ours? Anyone? Any idea? Which one is which
MRF
one?
group.
Okay, exactly. This is the one that we have created for our legal entity, MRF group. So select the MRF group here. Then the exchange rate provider. You can see the list of exchange rate providers if you have added them in the previous page. So we only have added one, right? So we can see the Central Bank of Europe, only one exchange rate provider. So I'll select that exchange rate provider. So how do you want to import the exchange rates, as of today's date or as a date range? So what it says, if I say today's date, if I say today's date means it will import the exchange rates for it today's date. So we have seen in the website, right? So for today's date, it will import the exchange rate. If I say date range means here, this will be active, which means I'll say like from 15th of July to 21st of July, import all the exchange rates. So it will import exchange rates for all the days 15, 16, 17 and all. For all these past days, it will import the exchange rates. If I select date range, okay, if I select today's date means it will only import the exchange rate for 21st of July, only for today's date.
So JP,
Hmm.
in this case, if you are going, means if we need that exchange rate on a daily basis, means
Hmm. Hmm.
so then it would be most probably we should use that date range, right?
Not actually. If if you keep today's date and if you run this every day, you will get
Okay.
the exchange rates every day, right? Why do you have to select date range once again? So if you do it yesterday, you will have yesterday's rate. If you have done this same job or import the same exchange rates on the previous day, day before yesterday, you would have the exchange rates of day before yesterday already. In case if you miss or if you are adding exchange rates on weekly basis or something like that, or if you want to import, if you forgot importing the exchange rates and you want to import the exchange rate from past dates as well, then you can select this date range option.
Okay, fine. So for importing any past dated exchange rates, then we need to use this date range, right?
Exactly.
Okay, fine.
I mean, if you want to import the exchange rates for a particular date range for multiple days rather than a single day, then you can select this one. Okay. Then I'll go for today's date only to import rather than selecting a date range. Then here I have an option, create necessary currency pairs. Yes or no. I can select yes or no. What is this option is, when we have accessed that XML link previously, I have seen a lot of currency pairs from euro to INR, euro to US dollar, euro to GBP, euro to Australian dollar, all the currencies we have. We have a lot of currencies. So, but in our system, we only have configured in this MRF exchange rate type, we only have configured euro to INR and euro to US dollar. I think so. Only two. What happens if I keep this create necessary currency pairs means the additional currency pairs that are available in that web link in that XML file, web XML file, all of them will be created in our exchange rate type. So euro to all other currencies exchange rates are all automatically created here in our dynamics. Rather than creating them manually, they will get automatically created. So in this MRF group, if I go for exchange rates, I only have euro to INR and euro to US dollar. You can see. But now if I select that option as S, I'll get euro to Australian dollar, euro to Canadian dollar, and all of them I'll automatically gets created here. Let's see if that works or not. Okay. So, so that's for this. If you don't want, if you feel like they are unnecessary, you can say no. No need to create other pairs. Just import the exchange rates for whatever is the existing pairs I have in my exchange rate type. So I'll keep it as S. So just to show you how it imports. Okay. Then override existing exchange rates. In case for today's date, if you have configured any exchange rate already, what system will do is system will override the existing exchange rate. Like if manually, if you are given something some exchange rate and you are again importing it from the website now from the exchange rate provider, if you want to override that exchange rate, system will automatically override the exchange rate from that rate to today's this imported rate. So mostly they don't have exchange rate for today's date. I mean, whenever they are doing it on like this automatically, so they don't have to write it manually, right? So it will be no only, obviously. Then this option is disabled, as you can see, grayed out. I can't use yes or no here because this is only available when I select date range option here. What happens here is if I select date range option, this will be enabled. You can see here. Now I can change it. So it does import a single rate for the date range. So if I'm selecting a date range from 15th of July to 21st of July, it only imports a single rate for all the date range. I mean, it will import a average rate for if it will calculate the average rate between this rate range, all the rates they have, or by divided by the number of days, and that average rate will be imported for all the days, all the date range. So, or else if I say no, it will import separate exchange rates for separate days, individual days. So that option is here, single rate for date range. So I don't want to use date range only. So I'll use only today's date, and I'll set this. This will be automatically get disabled. So prevent import on national holiday. So you have this option to enable or disable. Why they say prevent import on national holiday means on national holiday usually market does not run. And when market does not run, they will anyway send the previous day's exchange rate only. There won't be any fluctuations in the exchange rate when there is a national holiday. At least RBI does not function on national holiday, and they don't have the details updated in the bank. So sometimes if they don't have the details updated in the bank, and if the XML file is outdated file, system may fail importing the exchange rates, or it may throw error saying that exchange rates are not available in the RBI website for that particular day because it's a national holiday. So to avoid such kind of system failures or import failures, you can usually say it prevent import on national holiday. Say enable it as yes. Sometimes it may fail, but if they upload it or if they update it on daily basis, even though it's national holiday, then it will import normally. So you can keep it yes or no. It's up to you. So clear about these parameters in this form. Any confusion?
JP.
Say sure.
Could you please come again with that create necessary currency pairs?
Create necessary currency pairs. Okay.
Yep.
So normally in our exchange rate type, we have only two currency pairs from euro to other currencies. So if I would open this normally, I'm sorry, I can just do it like this. I can right click here on this arrow mark and I can go for view details. So it will take me to this page. I can click on exchange rates here. I'm sorry. So here I have euro to INR and euro to US dollar. Okay. Only two currencies configured against euro. The exchange rates are configured against euro. But in the website that I'm going to import, actually that have other currencies also, euro to other currency, euro to Australian dollar, euro to Canadian dollar, and all other currencies are already there. So what system does is it will automatically create that currency pairs here automatically from euro to all other currencies. Whatever that is there in that web link, all of them will be created here automatically. So if you want that, if system to create such currency pairs automatically, you can say yes. If not, you can say no. Up to you. So I just kept it as just to show it how system will bring the necessary currency pairs or additional currency pairs automatically. You will understand once we do the input.
Okay, JP, it's clear now.
Right.
So I have one question.
Yes, Bala.
When would such a situation arise when we will be using this necessary currency pairs only?
Necessary currency pairs only. It's not only. Okay.
When would such a situation arise when we will be using that option actually?
If it is a Europe local company and if they want exchange rates that are available in the website, I mean, for all the currency pairs, they will select this. It's a one-time selection. You don't have to select every day. So if you select it one time, it will bring all the available currency pairs from that website to your system. Or if you don't want them, you don't have to select it. That's all. There won't be any such situation. If it is just a additional feature available, if you want, you can enable. If you don't want, you can disable. That's all. Okay,
Thank you. Thank you.
no problem. And look into this one, run in the background. Okay, if I click it on OK enough, normally it does not using run in the background. If I click OK, what happens is it will run on the screen now. It will say that importing, and it will import within 1 minute or less than 1 minute. It will import, but it is only for one time now. But again, you have to come tomorrow. Again, you have to come to the same page. Again, you have to run this again by enabling these parameters. So every day you have to do it if you want to do it manually like this. But run in the background, there is an option here, run in the background, which is also called as batch processing. This is very important because this batch processing feature is available in almost in a lot of pages in Dynamics. Not only for importing exchange rates, for posting invoices, for generating invoices, for posting any transactions, or for some regular purposes in business or activities that we do in business, this batch processing will be available. So here same for importing exchange rate, we have this batch processing available. So if I enable this batch processing, I can run this same import job on daily basis without anybody coming here and running it like this every day. So if I give condition or I mean here if I give the condition to system will run it on daily basis. So how can I do it? I can do it here through recurrence. I can see an option called as recurrence here. If I enable this batch processing and if I click on recurrence, I can tell system how often I have to run this batch job. So starting from today and from this time, I want this batch job to be run, and I can select this time zone. It is showing Pacific time zone US and Canada because while creating legal entity, we have selected this time zone only. So that's why it is showing US and Canada time zone and the time is this much now. So now this says end after how many times. So if I say end after 30 times, the batch will run 30 times and it will end automatically. So if I say no end date, it will never end. So it will keep on running according to the condition that you give. If you want to run it hourly, daily or weekly or monthly, so then we'll come back to that point. So the job will end here after 30 attempts, or the job will never end if I select no end date. Or if I select end by so and so date, so job will end on that particular date. If I select end by 31st of July, the job will end on, or the automation will end on 31st of July. So I will select no end date, for example, such that I don't want this to end and I want it to import on daily basis. So here I have the option minutes or hours or days. So every minute you want to import it. No, you don't want to import it every minute. You want to import it once in a day. So I'll go for days, once in a day. So here it is asking repeat after specified interval. How many times? So I say once in a day, one time in a day. That's all. If I want to run it weekly, I'll say weeks and once in a week. So once in a week on which day? You can say Wednesday, once in a week. So you can also select 2 days in a week so that it will run only on those 2 days. Once on Wednesday and once on Thursday, like that. So else you can select one day in the week. That's all. Or else you can select days and you can select one, which means it will run on daily basis, once in a day. So you can give a specific time here. Specific time means so there will be a time when that particular bank will update the exchange rates in that website. So if the bank is updating the exchange rates at 9 a.m. suppose, you can say that your import job will run at 9:30 because your business will start by 10 a.m. anyway. Suppose so that by the time business starts or users start recording the transactions, your exchange rates will be imported automatically. So you can give that particular time when this batch job has to start or start to import the exchange rates. So if I give these conditions like this and if I run the batch job, what happens is every day it will automatically import the exchange rates at that specified time. So every day at 7:48 a.m. it will automatically run the batch job and import the exchange rates. And on daily basis, you will see the exchange rates getting added in the exchange rates page. We know the exchange rate page, right? So 20th, 21st. So on 22nd, after 7:48 a.m. again you will see the 21st exchange rate. On 22nd, you will see the 22nd exchange rate. That's how it works. So these batch jobs are, as I said, were there in multiple processes. So rather, in fixed asset depreciation, you have on monthly basis, you can schedule a job so that depreciations will be calculated and transactions will be generated on monthly basis without being done on manually. So for each asset, you don't have to do it manually. It will automatically run the batch job and bring up the transactions depreciation calculation so that you can just validate and post them later.
So is it going to be same for uploading balances also? Uploading and transferring balances?
Yes, of course, these batch jobs are everywhere in Dynamics.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is how it automatically imports the exchange rates on daily basis if I configure all these things. Okay. I don't want to configure this. Actually, I don't want to run it on daily basis. I just want to demonstrate or show you how it works for now. So I'm offing this batch processing. Okay. I'm just offing this batch processing. And since I have selected all the criteria that I needed, I'll just click OK. So this is not in this does not run in background. This runs on the screen only. Okay. So since I off this batch processing, so now I'll just click OK here. So you see this screen here. If I say background means I don't see this screen. It will automatically run in the background. I just will get a notification that the batch is scheduled and it's running in the background. Now it runs on the screen since I disabled the batch. Now I see two notifications. It is saying something. Operation cancel. I don't know why the operation is cancelled. It is saying some error message saying object reference not set to an instance of an object. Some technical error. Let me try it once again with some different conditions. It doesn't fail actually, but somehow the job it failed. So MRF, Central Bank of Europe, okay. Create necessary currency pairs, okay. Today's date, okay. Bank of Europe selected, okay. Everything is fine. Let me check. I'm sorry. Let me check this once again. Let me duplicate this page. I was expecting this should bring up, but we'll see. General ledger, exchange rate provider. Seems everything is proper here as far as I see. Let me disable this one. Create necessary currency pairs. Okay, let me try it once again. See, I have this time it successfully completed. I can see it here. Operation completed, and the following exchange rates were imported. How many? 32 exchange rates were imported. We only have two, right? Between euro and other currencies, US dollar and INR we have. So remaining 30 are additional. So since we said import necessary currency exchange rate, so it will automatically create necessary currency pairs actually. So 30 additional will be created. I'll show. We'll see how it is created. But there is a warning message saying for Zimbabwe dollar to US dollar configuration, there is no exchange rate available in that page because these are the few exchange rates we have that does not include euro. So since there is no euro currency in this currency pair, it does not bring that exchange rate because it does not have it in that particular bank. So it says a warning that from US dollar to Japanese yen, we don't have an exchange rate. So it did not bring any exchange rate, or that exchange rate provider does not support such exchange rate. So we did not have that exchange rate, it is saying. But for others, it brought up the exchange rates automatically. Let us see how the exchange rates are brought up. So to check it, I'll just go here to our exchange rates page here, the currency exchange rates page. Click on currency exchange rates. So I'll change it to MRF. You see, there are a lot of currency pairs automatically created. US euro to Australian dollar, euro to Belgian currency, euro to Brazil currency, euro to Canadian dollar. Or this is what we said, necessary currency pairs to have to be imported. When we enable that condition as yes, so you see all of them got created and you see the exchange rates for today's date imported automatically. Euro to Canadian dollar, we have this much. Euro to CHF, Switzerland's or franc, we have this much. Euro to Chinese currency, we have this much exchange rate. So we'll go back to our one, euro to US dollar, which we have already. So here it brought up today's exchange rate 1.177.50. So euro to INR, yep, sorry, it's euro to INR, right? So let me check it where it is. So here it is euro to INR. See here, it brought up the today's exchange rate automatically. It imported today's exchange rate 87.921. You can check it, euro to INR 87.81. So 87.92 could be the latest one maybe. That's how it brings up the exchange rates from that particular trusted website or exchange rate provider's website. So these are all the additional currency pairs that are automatically created, which were available in that website, and Dynamics automatically picks up and creates those exchange rate currency pairs here. Understood, guys? Any confusion in this? In the same manner, if we schedule the job, I mean the batch job, so it will run on daily basis, or else if we come back tomorrow and we can also do it manually, we can import the same way we imported, we can import on tomorrow again. So for 22nd July, again we will get the exchange rates if we import it tomorrow. The same manner, daily exchange rates will get updated, and whenever the users do transactions, the latest update exchange rates will be picked for those dates.
So those exchange rates which have not been included in this list have to be done manually.
For those, again, you will have separate exchange rate providers.
Okay.
So for that, you will have another exchange rate provider, and you will configure another job or run it once again for these particular currencies with another exchange rate provider. Okay, for US dollar to INR, you will go for the provider for US dollar, and you will select that provider and you will run the import job once again. Got it? The same way, you will go to this page and select the import currency exchange rates option and select the same exchange rate type, but this time select the US exchange rate provider. If there is anything configured there, that will be here in the list. You can select that one and you can run the job so that the exchange rates between euro to other currencies, I mean US dollar to other currencies, will also be imported. So you have to schedule multiple jobs like this. So today, if we can schedule this one, again we can schedule another batch job. So all of them will run parallelly, one after the other, for different currencies from different exchange rate providers. Understood? So sometimes in interview they will ask you this question: do you know the process of importing the exchange rates? So then you can say it, yes, firstly we have to configure the exchange rate provider, then we have to run the import job or run the import activities wherein we can import the exchange rates. Can we schedule all at one time? No, you have to schedule one by one for each exchange rate provider separately. I mean, I recommend you to give the date times as slight difference. So give a minute difference of time so that the batch jobs will not clash or system performance will not decrease. So once the batch job is run for one currency, next the batch job will start for another currency. So just give minute difference or at least two minutes difference. So it hardly took 30 seconds only to upload, right? Not more than 30 seconds, I think so. So the batch takes that much of time only. But did I answer your question? I mean, Naveen? Okay. Fine, thank you. And anything else, guys, in this import of exchange rates? You also train your system. Try with this one. I mean, the Euro exchange rate provider. It will definitely work for your demo system as well. Sometimes it may trouble, but retry it. It will definitely work. Let me know if you face any challenges. We'll see. And that would be all about the currency mechanism, how to create exchange rates or how to import exchange rates on daily basis or on periodic basis.
JP,
Yes, Yeshu.
here as we got one error, there is no bridge between Euro and JBP, right?
Yes, that's not error, that's a warning actually.
Okay. So, is there any possible way that when you are posting an entry between Euro to JWD,
Mhm.
so do we get the exchange rate auto populated, or do we go for manual intervention over there?
No. It will automatically take according to the date of transaction you give. It will select the rate from here.
Okay.
Okay.
If it is not configured here,
If it is not configured, it will ask you the date. The rate is not configured. It will throw an error message saying you cannot post this transaction since the rate is not configured. You can manually give the rate there, or you can come back and give the rate here. I mean, if there is no rate at all, if there is the previous day's rate, it will select the previous day's rate.
okay. Okay. So, okay, fine. Okay, fine, Jim.
Okay, good. And anything else, guys? So if there is no more doubts, we'll start with a new topic. Since we have less time, we'll just give an introduction about the topic that is very important and the most important question in interview. Chart of accounts. Anybody have any idea what is a chart of accounts?
In the list of accounts that are available in an organization to post the business transactions, regular business transactions.
Okay, the list of accounts that are available in an organization to post the business transactions. Okay, so how they will be available?
I mean,
I
they are
mean,
like specific to industry, I believe.
Bala, can you please come again?
I mean, they are specific to industry, I believe. I mean, the kind of business they are into.
That depends again, yes, according to the industry or according to the company, according to the business requirement, it changes. So Vamshi, coming to your opinion. Yeah.
I mean, based on the nature of transactions, we divide the list of accounts.
Okay, we divide the list of accounts. How many kinds of accounts we have in business usually? Now this question is to my friend Sairam.
How many?
How many kinds of accounts we have in business usually?
General accounts?
No, not in that way.
Oh.
So we have certain categories, right? Profit and loss accounts and balance sheet accounts, and within that we have some categories once again.
Expenses,
Exactly,
revenues,
and
assets,
okay,
It's
depreciation.
okay. Depreciation is also an expense. Okay. So it's like my friend Sairam said, expenses, revenues, assets, and liabilities. Sometimes equity accounts, and we have other accounts for other profit and loss accounts. So again, these revenues will be divided as operating revenues and non-operating revenues. Expenses will be divided as operating expenses, non-operating expenses, or some other name called as direct expenses or indirect expenses. And again, assets can be divided into current assets, fixed assets. Liabilities can be divided into current liabilities and long-term liabilities. Equity, we have multiple divisions again. Within equity, you have debentures, you have subsegments like the capital subsegments. Equity, debentures, or what else we have, guys?
Preference.
Okay, preference shares or preference capital. equity capital, preference capital, debentures, bonds, kind of this similar. So all these sorry, I'm going for exchange rate once again. All these set of accounts will frame the accounting system of the company, or all these will be combined or used for the posting of business transactions on daily basis in company. So somebody should mute the mic. I think so. Thanks. So chart of accounts, to define chart of accounts, what's the definition is, like my friend Vamsi said. So I can simply write a definition. Chart of accounts is a set of main accounts that define the accounting framework of the company. So if when I say accounting, it mostly deals with finance. So every account will have a number. I mean the balance, right? So that is always come into finance. So I can say like accounting framework of the company or the organization, I can say in large term. So people from non-accounting background might face difficulty to understand this. I hope there were few in our class. There are few in our class who are not from accounting background, but I'll try to explain in a simple terms. So usually every transaction that we record in business, so if we pay rent or if we buy a good or if we earn a revenue or if we buy an asset, everything that you do or every business activity that you do will be recorded as a transaction, and every transaction will involve two accounts or more than two accounts, at least two accounts or more than two accounts. So what happens is one account will be debited, other account will be credited depending on the nature of the transaction and according to the three accounting rules we have. So if you want to understand these accounting rules and the structure or the pattern of accounts, I will take a special class for you if you want. It's not today, but maybe on a holiday, such that the interested people can join and we can discuss it for like an half an hour, so that you won't face any difficulties further in this course. So if you're interested, you can just drop a message as yes, or if not, you can say no, no problem. I think only one or two, I think, but I don't specifically know the background or academic backgrounds of you people. But most of the times I see you people talking active. I understood most of you are from accounting background. So Shiva needs a class. Yes, okay, sure. We'll plan it for Sunday if you are available. Someday, one half an hour or 1 hour on Sunday. Okay, definitely. So coming to this one, chart of accounts. So as I said, chart of accounts is set of main accounts that define the accounting framework of the organization. So I will create a chart of accounts, and within that I'll create accounts. So main accounts. So each account will specifically have a unique number once again. So depending on the nature of the accounts, I'll number the accounts. I'll show you how we can divide the accounts. So as my friend Sairam said earlier, I'll drag everything down. So how many types of accounts we have in business? Usually we have something called profit and loss accounts. Okay. Loss accounts. So can also be called as actually sometimes so these are called as temporary accounts because these balances are not transferred to the next period, actually next year. So these are called temporary accounts. Again, we have balance sheet accounts. So the major segregation can be done in this way. Accounts can be divided as profit and loss accounts and balance sheet accounts. So under profit and loss accounts, I can keep points actually. What is the way of keeping a point? I think I'll go like this. Okay, I have expenses, I have revenues, and I have other P&L accounts if there are any. Okay, I'll just say other profit and loss accounts. Other than expense and revenues, there are certain accounts that gets debits and credit usually, or some intermediary accounts if there are any. I'll call them as other P&L accounts. So these will fall under profit and loss. Again, within expenses, we can divide or subdivide it into operating and operating expenses and non-operating expenses. Revenues we can subdivide into operating revenues and non-operating revenues. What is an operating revenue? Anybody? What is an operating revenue?
Which arises from your regular business activity.
Okay, correct. So an operating revenue is a revenue which arises or which company receives from the regular business activity. So if it is a what we say, if it is a furniture selling company or furniture manufacturing company, by selling the furniture they will receive the revenue, that is an operating revenue. If they receive revenue from other side, like from interest income from the fixed deposit they have in the bank, some interest if they receive, that will be non-operating income because that is nowhere related to the business. That's not a business activity related income, but that's a non-operating income, so that will be non-operating. So the incomes that have nature of non-operating will be divided into non-operating revenues or incomes, which are earned from regular business activities will be termed as operating revenues. In the same way, expenses also, which are used for regular business activities or expended for regular business activities, are called as operating expenses. The other expenses which will be expended for which are to non-business activities or anything else, so that will be considered as non-operating. So something like rents, wages, or any other miscellaneous expenses will be considered as non-operating expenses. Like if you buy raw material, purchase expenses, or some machinery expenses, so those will come under operating expenses usually. So forget about this operating and non-operating. We don't dig deep into it. Generally remember this: expenses, revenues, and other P&L accounts. So within balance sheet accounts, again we have segments. So we have assets, we have liabilities. So anybody have any idea what is an asset? Any idea what is an asset? Most
Asset
of
is,
them. Please.
asset is which we can see and we can touch it. We can use it.
There can also be assets which we can't touch or which we can't see, but we can record value.
Yes, yes, that also. And more, it will be it will be a dollar. It will be a rupee.
Okay, as in that perspective of
Asset is a main thing which adds the value to the business.
okay,
Yeah.
asset is a wealth to the business, simply, right? So what is a
Generates economic benefit to the company.
Okay, Bharadwaj, I hear you. Then what is a liability?
Which is an obligation
It's
to
a
the
debt.
company to pay.
Okay, which is an obligation for the company to pay to somebody who gave money to you or who gave anything to you. You have to repay it, so you will record it as a liability. So asset is something that you hold or that you have to receive from somebody or that somebody owes to you, will be recorded as an
Generates a
asset,
benefit.
which generates a benefit usually. Yes, good language. Then within other than this, we also have equity accounts in balance sheet, and we have other balance sheet accounts if you want any other balance sheet accounts. Okay, and again within assets we have how I can say there are multiple actually, so I can say current assets and fixed assets. So when it comes to current assets, again under current assets I have different categories. So I can say like this: cash, bank, then anything.
Stock.
Okay, stock that you have invested in with somebody.
Yes.
Okay. Or any other instruments. You have financial instruments you hold. So I'll call them financial instruments like bonds or anything if you hold in hand. So that will fall under current assets. Coming to fixed assets, they were again divided into tangible fixed assets, intangible fixed assets. Tangible fixed assets like large scale machinery, vehicles, or furniture that stays with you for a long time. Intangible assets will be like goodwill, royalties, or any other licenses that you hold, which adds value to your business. So that will be intangible assets. So to say in specific, tangible assets are something that you can touch. Intangible assets are something you that cannot be touched, but you can only show them in your books as some financial benefit or an amount. That's all. So that will be called as fixed assets. Again, in liabilities, we have short-term liabilities and long-term liabilities. In equities, we have, equity capital, preference capital, debt capital, bonds, anything like that. So different segregations. So why I'm saying all this is, whenever you are going for an implementation project, you have to understand the accounting structure of the company and the client. So what accounting pattern they are following, what kind of expenses they have, what kind of revenue accounts they have, what kind of other profit and loss accounts they have, what kind of assets they have, within the assets different, how many different account types they have, and then what are the different liabilities they have and equity items they have, and any other additional accounts they use in regular business or sometimes in the business. So, and you have to structurize the chart of accounts of a company. So tomorrow we will discuss about how we can structurize the chart of accounts of a company. So to structurize this, you have to understand first the pattern they are following for now. So after that, you will again discuss with the client about how we can structurize, or how the client requirement is, or how they want the chart of accounts to be numbered. So for each and every account type, we will have a different separate number. For assets, I say we start with number 1. So all the numbers that start, account number that start with 1 will be assets. That start with 2 will be liabilities. Like that, we can number the accounts. So we'll see that tomorrow, how we can number the assets and all. How we can number the accounts and all, we'll see tomorrow. So, but just get a basic understanding about what is chart of accounts and what are the different types of accounts we use in business. So these are the different types of accounts we use in business. And this is the definition of chart of accounts. So chart of accounts is a group of all these accounts. So if I create all these main accounts, one by all these accounts and the accounts within this account types, so all this will be coming under chart of accounts. So chart of accounts is generally a group of main accounts, or a group of all these accounts will be called as chart of accounts. Understood, guys? Any confusion in this explanation, what I have said until now about chart of accounts? So Sheila, you understood what is chart of accounts?
Yeah, I understood.
Seshu there?
Yeah, there.
Understood?
Got it. Yeah, got it.
Bala, Naveen, Saideep?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So then Lohit only be the person who is in trouble, and Shiva will be the one who is in trouble with the accounting system. So these both might be from technical background. And is there anyone else from technical background other than accounting? You don't see noise. Well, that's okay. As far as somebody is saying something. Shiva.
My background is only complete a finance background, sir.
Finance background, na?
Yes, sir.
So then you will understand it, right?
కానీ అంత ఫోకస్ గా పెట్టేస్తే నేను 2 minutes.
No problem. I'll explain you in a class. I'll take some 30 minutes. Like I'll explain you how it works and the basic accounting rules. Okay. So if anybody is interested, you can join. I'll tell it tomorrow. If I would be able to take the class on Saturday or Sunday, I'll let you know.
Okay.
So that you can join at that specific time.
Sure.
And anything else, guys, in this chart of accounts? So if you don't have, if you don't have basic idea, you can normally do some research. What you can go through Google and see what is expenses, what is revenues, what is assets and liabilities and all. I'll next explain how each of them works and will be linked in Dynamics, or how each of them will be associated to every activity in Dynamics. So I'll explain it. So I'll just stop the recording until here.